Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Is your Garmin Graph costing you a lot of time on the water that you could be fishing? Instead, you're trying to get everything working right and set up because nothing seems to be going like it's supposed to? Well, maybe this video is going to be for you. A lot of people have asked me here lately, since Christmas especially, about helping them set up their graph because they just don't know how to use the thing. So what we're going to do, we're going to go over today from the settings from pretty much start to finish, from first time you turn it on until you turn it off that afternoon when you get through fishing. And we're going to try to set up everything at home before you get to the water. So when you get to the water or get on the lake, you'll be fishing and not turning knobs or pressing buttons trying to get everything set because it won't work right. Only thing you'll have to do is maybe tweak it just a little bit, turn your gain up and down a little bit, or on your side imaging, maybe make it a little bit wider, a little bit narrower. It's not, just little small, simple things right like that. And spend most of your time fishing and enjoying the day. Well, hang on just a little bit, guys. I'm going to get this camera turned around and we're going to get started on it. All right, guys, this is what it's going to look like when you first turn it on there. So if you're in the United States, press United States, press English, store demonstration off. You don't want that on. Quickly set up, yep, click OK. If you have a fishing boat like mine or a power boat of some sort, hit power boat. Safe boat, depth limit, mine use about 1.5 foot of water, so 3 foot been fine. Shallow water alarm, I always turn that off because if you're fishing in shallow water for the crappie spawn or whatever, the thing will drive you crazy. So I always leave that thing turned off. Vertical clearance, 10 feet from mine. I don't need much. Even if I stand up, I still don't need 10 feet. Collision alarm, I press 500 feet, 3 minutes, and then hit accept. You can go back and change any of this stuff as you want to. All right, once you get booted up and you come to this screen right here, you want to go to settings, go to system, go to display. Now you already set this up already when it was coming on. If you didn't, set your backlight, your color mode to day. If you want it on day, if you fish at nighttime, put it on night, so you can change it, day colors and night colors. You don't want it on auto because it'll switch back and forth and drive you crazy. So I leave mine on day colors. Satellite positioning, you want to turn WAAS, W-A-A-S, on. It'll come off, be turned off on default, but if you turn it on, it gives you more satellites and it gives your position more accuracy with more satellites turned on. Of course, you see your satellites right here, all that's going on right here. So turn the WAAS on. Auto power off. I don't like it auto power nothing. I just put it on never. You can put it on 8, I guess, 8 hours. That way it'll turn itself off. If you get to turn the thing off, won't run your battery down. But you don't want it going off automatically while you're fishing during the daytime. System information. There's really nothing much in here. You can click on Garmin devices to tell you what your software version is and what kind of unit it is and your unit ID number. If you ever need to call Garmin for some reason, they'll want to see what that software version is. Go back out. Auto power up. If you have 2 units that work together there, you'll want to turn that on to auto power up both units right there if that's what you want. Because when you press one unit, they'll both come off. It's kind of cool. I like that right there. Let's see. Okay, communications. Now you want wireless devices turned on. So turn that on. Turn Wi-Fi network, and you'll leave the name. So I named mine what my unit is, a Garmin 126 SV. So you can change the name, put in what you want right there, and then click done, and then it'll ask you for a password. Put in what your password is, whatever you choose it to be, type it in, and then click next. And let's see, that's about all in that right there. Other vessels, you want to go to other vessels and make sure AIS is turned on. That's your AIS alarm. You kind of set that up when you first turn the unit on the very first time. Set mine to 3 minutes, range 500 feet. The alarm will go off. Somebody's supposed to run over you, I guess. So you want to leave that on. Press back, and then push my vessel. Now this is, you want to put your unit, your boat ID number in, your boat serial number. You can put it in right here, put your boat serial number, and it's registered to your boat. That way you'll always have that. Transducer models, you want to press that. And if you've got a transducer hooked to it, it'll come up auto. It auto to GT56. My unit has a 56 transducer on the back of the boat. So you can change models. You can go in here and choose whatever transducer you have. If you have one on your Minn Kota on the front right there, just change it to a Minn Kota. Well, I leave mine on auto tech, and it finds the right transducer all by itself. The shallow water, I like to keep the shallow water turned off because if I'm fishing in shallow water, I don't want it going off beeping the whole time because I'm fishing in shallow water. And fish alarm, I don't like any of that on either because if you got LiveScope on the front, you know what the fish is like anyhow, and it's not going to affect this right here. So I leave all this stuff turned off so it's not bothering me all during the day. And then press back. Let's see, AIS, we already covered that, and this system. Now you really want to leave this on because if you're running on your cranking battery, which a lot of people do, you want to set this thing, and I normally set mine to 12 volts. So I would put in 1, 2 volts, because if it gets below 12 volts, I want to know about it. I'm already thinking about a dead battery, can't get home. So you really want that turned on. Messed it up. 12 volts. Done. Okay. Now that's on. And that's really just about it on this thing here. Next thing you want to go to is your charts menu. So press charts. This is what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get your whole unit set up to where when you go fishing, you can fish and you don't have to worry about setting all this stuff up. You can actually do all this stuff pretty easy at home. So go to fishing chart and then press menu and then go up to layers. Charts. Now I turn this just me. I don't need photo points on. I don't need points of interest turned on. I don't need service. And I definitely don't need tides of currents turned on when I'm fishing in a reservoir or lake like that. Now, restricted areas, you may want to turn that on. I like to keep mine turned on for fishing and for speed in case there's places you can't fish. You want to know about it. And if there's a speed limitation in some areas, especially like the river, you want to know about that so that thing goes off. So keep that turned on. Hit back. My vessel. Now this right here is important to me. You can choose your vessel icon, whatever you want it on. You can choose however big of an icon you want. I'll leave mine at the default setting. Now heading line is what's really important. You want that turned on. And what that does, it makes a line out from the point of your boat to where you can see which way your boat is turned. So when you do that, I put mine on distance, which is already on there, and I like to keep mine at 100 feet. It comes default already at 100 feet, so, and I don't turn my angle markers on. You can play with that if you want to. I don't use that, so hit back, quick draw. If you like quick draw, what that does, it draws a map. Every time you're using the thing and you turn quick draw on, it draws a map of where you're at. Now, quick draw is a pretty good It's actually a more accurate map. But if you leave it on and you use your maps that come on Garmin, it's going to clutter it all up. So I turned mine off. So you can kind of just put in what you want to on that right there. On water, I like shallow shading on, and I definitely like my fish contours on. Depth shading, it's whether you want it on or not, you can turn it on. What it does is it adds colors to different depths. So if you like depth shading, turn it on. If you don't, turn it off. I don't really use it. I like to just use my map like it is. I hit back. Let's see. User data. Waypoint display, you definitely want that on. So it comes already on by itself. Boundaries, you can have it on if you want to. Tracks, I like my tracks to be accurate tracks. I like all of that on. I wanted to show where I've been so I don't keep running over the same area. All right, that's just about it on your map. Zoom that up where you can see what you're doing. And you know, you can move this thing around. There's a Ross Barnett Reservoir right there from my house. Pretty cool, huh? So hit back and back. Well, there was one other thing I wanted to show you. Let me find it real quick. Yes, chart setup, map orientation. That's what I wanted to show you. If you know where north is all the time, you can. I ain't one of those guys, so I don't use north up on the way my map is pointing because I don't. Your map would be turned all which ways. I like mine head up. That's the direction of the boat that's heading. Course up. If you put it on course up, let me go back to it real quick. If you put it on course up, that's going to show you the direction of a course that you've laid out. So it's always going to be trying to put a line at the course you should be going. I like mine, the line of the direction of my boat's going, so I always put it heads up. Detail, it's a detail for your maps. I want mine, all of it. I want all the detail I can get. So I push that up, press that, and on world map, you can put it on full if you want to. I keep it on basic, and what that world map don't really help me any. It really, what it does is bog the processor down. So I keep it on basic just to keep the keeping bogging the processor down so much. Well, that's about it on fishing charts. We'll go to navigation charts next. Okay, on navigation chart, let's press navigation chart, press menu, press layers, and press chart. This is kind of pretty much the same thing that we was looking at a minute ago on the other ones. So most of all this stuff's the same. So I like to keep all these turned off. Now in the nav aid, you can turn the labels and stuff up bigger and smaller and shorter letters, however you want to do it. I leave it just like it is at default, but you can make, if you want the nav aids larger or normal or larger, however you want them. I kind of keep mine, well, let's put it on normal just to have something to do. But what that does, it makes bigger icons on your screen. I like them small. I don't, I like to keep everything pretty clean on my maps. Let's swell this map up some. We can see this better here. My vessel, the same thing a minute ago, is you want that heading line on that points out from the point of your boat. So go to display, distance. All of these right here should be about right. You can always change this to however length you want that heading line to be. I like mine at 100 feet. So make sure you turn the heading line on. In the icon, you can make this boat right here bigger. Watch this boat right here. See, it's make it smaller. We can make it real big. you know, I keep mine in just about the medium size, which is about default. Let's see, user data. I like the weight. Leave these right here on, and make sure these are right. The tracks are on too. The water, it's the same thing we went through a minute ago. I like the shallow shading on. So that right there will probably be already set up from the other deal. Other vessels, which you've already set up before when we talked about it a minute ago, the AIS alarm and stuff. Now details, you can turn on more details. You have to just kind of play with this stuff to see whether you want it on or not. Let's go back out of this right here and I go to waypoints. I would leave all this just like it is right here from default, because these, you want all these right here turned on. Quick draw contours. If you want to make a map, like we was talking about a minute ago, doing quick draw maps, this is where you would go to start recording the map at. So you hit start recording, and you'd make a go back and forth, just keep doing a grid pattern until you get the whole area covered that you want to record exactly the map. Then, like I said, the quick draw maps now is way more accurate than the maps that comes on your unit. So you might want to play with this right there if you want a real accurate setting and with your contour lines and everything. Let's see, chart setup. We already did the map orientation heads up. If, like I said, you can put it on course up or north up, however you want. I run mine on head up. The detail again, here I want this turned all the way up on most. And then, well, I'll go back here. And then on the world map on, I like that turned, keep that turned off. I don't like it turned on full because it just uses up too much processor power. Slows your unit down, and I just really don't want that. Edit overlays. Now, this is kind of another thing. It would be whether you like it or not. Your maps don't have anything on it to tell you the depth or what time it is or anything. So you can turn it on. What it does, it puts squares in the corner, and it kind of clutters up the screen again. I'll show you. See, it puts the squares over in the screen like that, and then it covers up part of your map. I don't like it. You know, it may be for you. If it is, you can go in here and you can do each one exactly the way you want it to read, if you wanted that turned on. All right, that's probably, let me go ahead and turn that back off right here. Edit overlays, turn that junk off. That's just about it on the navigation map. Yeah, we've already went through all that right there. Go back to home. All right, sonar is next. So press the sonar button. There we go. You can go to traditional. In menu. Here everything is pretty much set the way you would want it, except for zoom. It's right out of the box. Zoom is, zoom is turned off. So it'll say no zoom. So press the zoom button, press magnify. Now what that does, that lets you open up a box or a magnification, but you just pinch this little spot on there like this right here. See, it's zoomed. You can move this around wherever you want to zoom in on it at. And then you can zoom it up even bigger, or you can make it smaller. You can move it anywhere you want to, and you can just pinch it shut. So that's pretty cool. I really like that turned on, because if I see something I really want to zoom in on and take a good hard look at it, that's really important. Sonar setup. A scroll feed. You know, this Garmin unit can do a better job than I can keeping up with how fast I'm going. So I keep mine set on auto. And that's just for scroll speed now. So back to that. On screen range control. I like mine turned the gain on, not the range, because it's going to kind of do its own thing anyhow on the range. So I put that at gain. And then on appearance, you can change whatever color you like. Just set on yellow. You can set it to anything that you want. You can put it on blue, classic blue, maroon. You put it anywhere you want. I always just leave it on yellow. Yellow's just about good enough for me. So A scope, I leave it off. I don't like it. That's that little scope that'll be on the side of the unit, or be on this side actually. And it's just an extra little scope. I don't like it. So in fish symbols, I don't like those either. I got LiveScope up there I'm going to use, so I don't really need those things cluttering up my screen. Let's see, overlay data. Well, this is already turned on. This is actually good right here. The other one has square boxes in it, but this right here shows it up here like this. I turn them all on. I want to know everything, so I turned that stuff on. Sonar recording. Now, if you see something that you going over an area and you want to record it, you can go to record right here and start recording, and it'll record the screen. You can go back later and look at it, and you tell it what memory card you have in it, which one. If you have 2 in it, tell it which one you have, which one you want to record to. Go to advanced. Really, it's not much to do here either. Interference, you can kind of, on this particular traditional, you don't really have to mess with any of this stuff. Just let it kind of do its own thing, and it works just fine. Installation, there you go. It's the transducer model. If you already had it set to auto, it's already picked it up anyhow, so you don't have anything to fool with right there. So really, that's just about the extent of it for traditional. So it works pretty good just right out of the box, except for the zoom. Remember, you just pinch and zoom a box up, and you can move it all over the screen. Anywhere you want to let some on the bottom you want to zoom in on real big, you can make it bigger. You can make it smaller, and then you can just pinch it and make it go away. So it's pretty cool. Alright, for ClearVü. ClearVü is basically down imaging, and I like it, so that's a handy tool to have. Turn it on, ClearVü, press menu. Contrast, I like mine at 80%. You can kind of figure out what you like. 80% is a good start number. The brightness, I like mine between 80 and 90%. Usually almost lands on 90%. My frequency is, I'll leave it right where it defaults at. Your range, you want to leave that probably on auto. It works just like traditional sonar. So zoom, now I like my zoom turned on again. So we put it on magnify, because down image is going to show you a real sharp view of the bottom and fish and treetops and all. You can pinch zoom. You can see that right there. You can zoom it in more, or you can zoom it in smaller, just like on your phone. And say there's something on the bottom right here you want to look at, you can move that box down there with your finger and put it right on it. Zoom in real good and tight, and you can see exactly what it is. There's fish hiding down in there, especially in the brush tops. I use it a lot for that. Sometimes I might run by a brush top and I don't see anything, so I zoom it real quick and look in there real close to see what's in it. But anyhow, if you like the zoom, put it on magnify right here, and then you can just close it, just pinch it, and it'll go right away. That's really about all you need to fool with on down imaging. Sonar setups is pretty much the same thing. Your scroll speed is already set to auto, so that's good. Just leave that just like it is. Now your color scheme, you might want to change it. I'll leave mine on rusted steel. It works pretty good. You can put it on any color you want. A lot of people like amber. I like rusted steel, like right out of the box. But like I said, you can change it around and pitch whatever color you want on it. Overlay data, it's already got this on over here. If you like it, I like it just like it's set up, just like that. Advanced, I'll just leave it like it is right there, because you know TVG is on medium. What that does is cut all this clutter out up here, in the top, so you don't have to see all that junk. So I leave that alone. The LiveScope, you don't want that on at all, but on these, it helps a little. In the installation, same thing. You know, it's your transducer models, all that is. So if you got a different transducer in this, you might want to change models. And this is all setting up at home. Now, when you get on the lake, you may want to do something a little bit different. You know, this right here is just a basic setup to get you fishing, so you don't have to throw it a lot of junk. It'll work real good the way I'm telling you, but you can tweak it to your own liking. Well, that's about it. On down imaging, it works pretty dang good right out of the box. Now, SideVü is a side imaging. That's what everybody else calls it, side imaging. Garmin calls it SideVü. So press SideVü, press menu. And on contrast, I like to run my contrast about 80%. Said you can change it however bright you want it, or as much contrast as you want. I like mine at 80%. On brightness, I usually turn mine up high as it'll go. So, you know, anywhere from 90% to 100%. Depends on how much is washing the picture out. If it's too bright, you can't see detail, then turn it down a little bit till it clears up. Frequency. Now, frequency, if you have it on 1070, which is mega imaging, it'll show you more detail. If you need to see further out, change it to 455. Now, it'll show better further out on 455 and closer in on 1070. Range is it's going to depend on you, really. I keep mine at about 65%, about right there. You know, if you run it out here at 200 feet, say I start making it smaller, you know, probably biggest I'd ever run it is maybe 75. You know, I'd run it somewhere right along in there, you know. But 9 times out of 10, if I'm motoring along, I'll actually have it on 50%. So, you know, set it on 60% at home, leave it right there until you get out on the water, and then kind of you can always adjust it. And that's why we're going to put the zoom. Now don't put no zoom on this, because it's kind of weird looking on this thing right here. On your sonar set on screen control, leave it on range, because now you can control the range right on the screen real fast. You can change it to anything you want. If you want to change it to brightness, well, you can't do anything you want, but you can change it to range or brightness. I'll leave mine on range, that way I can, because if you wanted to look out a little bit further, because you're looking right in the edge of say a big brush pile that's right on the edge of your screen, you can't see the rest of it. Just turn your range up a little bit more, then you get a better picture. Let's see. Rust, you know, color scheme, rusted steel, it comes at, I like mine on my side imaging on amber. That's about the only time I put anything on amber on mine, but I like my side imaging on amber. So change it to what you want. You got a whole lot of stuff that comes on rusted steel, floodlight, Caribbean, lava. Man, they got all kind of colors. Moss, what I run my LiveScope on is moss, but I like this one on amber. I don't know why, it just kind of suits my eye better. And if you want to record the screen, that's, you know, a lot of times I will record on SideVü, because it's such a crazy good detailed picture. You can hit that and start recording. You go back and look at it later on. Installation. Now you can change, it's kind of crazy, you can change the screen to look, instead of looking over here to the left, you can make that right, and you can make this over here left. I don't know why they did that, but they did. But there was one other little thing I wanted to show y'all. Let's see. Well, Maybe I moved it out of this particular update right here. Let me go back. There it is. That's what I want to show you. View selection. Now, if you're running along the lake and everything that you want to look at is to the left, you can change it to left only. Now it's only showing the picture shooting off of the transducer. That way it's giving you more power to that side. It shows you a little bit better detail. If you wanted it ride only, you could click ride only. You know, I normally just leave mine on right. I mean, you know, right and left down the middle. But you can change it. Say like you're dock shooting and you want to just look under that one direction. That's, you know, it'll show you that way. So that's pretty cool. So that's just about it on SideVü. Like I said, there's not a lot of settings you need to mess with. It's all pretty simple on these right here. But you know, the big thing is setting your range and your contrast and your brightness before you go. The rest of it in your color scheme, and the rest of it kind of works pretty good by itself. All right, that's it for SideVü. Okay, now we're going to take a look at combos. I turned simulator on because I don't have a LiveScope hooked to this back here on this unit right here, but a mosquito trying to eat me. But anyhow, we're going to work on combos right here. So press the combo button. Now you have a list of combos that you can use right here that I don't like any of them, to be honest with you, so I just kind of make my own. So press customize, press add. Now you can choose which way you want it to look. When I'm running down the lake, I will choose that one, and I'll put charts in the first one, and I'm going to put navigation charts because that's what I'm going to be using when I'm running, you know, down the lake. So we'll make a navigation right there, and on this side right here, I'm going to put a sonar, and it's always going to be for me. Now you do it the way you want to, but I'm going to run traditional sonar on this side. That way I can have all of my information in a column right here, and I can see the bottom, how deep it is, all the information I need is right there in that list. So just click done. And you can name it whatever you want to. I don't never name them, but you can name it whatever you want to, and then click done. Now, if you want to make another combo, click another one. This is going to be for LiveScope, SideVü, and downView. We're not LiveScope yet. We'll get that in a minute. But this right here will be this right here. I'm going to make this, and this is the way I do my boat right here. I'm going to put SideVü right here. I messed that up. Let's go back. That sonar, that's what I'm looking for. Click sonar. I'm going to put ClearVü, a SideVü in that top one right there, because I off the width of it. So, and this one over here, I'll put my fishing chart right there, because right now I'm fishing. I want to see where I'm going. And this one over here, I'm going to put downView, which is called ClearVü. So now I got everything that I need. I got my maps to tell me where I'm going. I got the bottom view right directly under the boat, and I got this side view right here looking, so I can see pretty much everything I need to island along with my big motor. And this is what I use 90% of the time when I'm out running these river ladies I'm telling y'all about. I'll have this map right here on. Now if I want to, if I need a bigger map of SideVü, and all you gotta do is just touch it. Let me get through this so you know, show what I'm talking about. You can call it what you want to and click done. So if you're running along and you see something, say I want to look at this thing right here, you can touch it, all of a sudden it becomes all SideVü. That's pretty cool. You can hit back, it goes back to it. If I want to see something real close under the boat that I'm seeing, want a bigger screen, just touch that square. All of a sudden, there's down view. Man, you're looking at just exactly what you need at one time, real fast. And so anyhow, let's go back. We'll make one more. Now, when I'm live scoping, if I'm moving around with my live scope, I'm always going to have a picture of my live scope and a picture of my maps. I want to look and see where my waypoints are while I'm moving around, and I want to see that live scope. So we're going to choose this one again, and we're going to let's put our fishing chart in that one right there, and over here we'll put our live scope. Remember, I'm in simulator mode right now, so now I don't need maps this big, so I can move this over. I want to see a bigger picture of my live scope. If I want it smaller than that, I could get it smaller than that. You see what I'm saying? That way you can see your waypoints right here. Whoops, I messed that up. So you decide how big you want that. If you'd rather have a big map and a little live scope, you can do it that way. But I like it over here like this right here, probably about that size. And then click done. Name it what you want to, if you want to name it something, and click done. Now you can click on the map just like you did on the other just a minute ago, and enlarge your map just by touching it, or you can do your live scope and see its full screen live scope. You can zoom in right here, real easy. So really, I mean, this is what I run 90% of the time. If I got my live scope on, if I'm not running this, if I'm running down the middle of the lake and just going to an area, I'm gonna run this right here so I can see my maps and I can see the bottom. I'm more keen in on how deep the water is than anything else when I'm running. And if I'm looking with my big motor, I'm gonna run this right here, that combo we made. And if I'm live scoping, I'm gonna run that one right there while I'm live scoping so I can see my waypoints. And when I get to where I see something on the screen that I want to fish around that old bus right there, so I've already got it on my screen. So now I just touch the screen and I got a full screen live scope. And I'll show you something else cool right here. Get back out of here. See, this right here will be my #1 button. You hold this button right here down. Here, see that? Now, anytime you're somewhere else, you can press #1. This screen will show up. Now I go to the other combo. Now I can press this one right here, hold the button down #2, and it's going to be recorded. Now I can switch real quick from #1 to #2, just like that. Now I can go back and I can put my live scope right here, and I can make that #3 if I want to. You know, you can number them anything, you number any of them you want to, any way you want it. Now, to be honest with you, on my live scope screen on the front of the boat, #1 is always going to be that picture right there. That'll always be that picture. So you number them the way you want to. That's just real easy shortcut, man. You can go through these things so fast like that. If you want just plain live scope as a button, I just name it #1. We take that back out, name it #1. There you go. Anytime you go now from that screen, you can press #1 and you're in live scope that quick. All right, speaking of live scope, let's go ahead and set up our live scope now. We got everything else pretty much set up, the whole thing. And we're doing all this at home now. It's just so simple to do this at home. You don't have to worry about doing all of it on the water. So go to menu, go to gain. First thing you want to do on gain, you want to turn that auto medium off. You do not want to be in auto on live scope. I run mine almost 90% of the time. It's going to be at 68. That's almost always. Now sometimes I run it as high as 75. It depends on the water. If the water's super clear and I don't have a lot of stuff in the water, I'll run it up higher. But 9 times out of 10 on the Ross Barnett Reservoir,
I'm gonna have it on 68. Sometimes it can be worse than that. You know, the water's real. A big rainstorm came and there's a lot of stuff in the water. I may have to run it all the way down to 60. But you see how the picture starts going away? And watch it start coming back. Well, it changed pictures on me right in the middle of it. But as you intensify the gain, so you intensify the picture, so you get a lot of clutter. So when you bring that thing down, bring it down, the clutter disappears. And you want a little bit of sparkle. Don't worry about the sparkle so much. You know, you don't want a complete clear picture. If you have that, then you lose all the detail. So, you know, 68's a good starting number. If you want it a little higher, you can change it while you're fishing. It's real easy to do. All right, depth range, you do not want that on auto. It'll be doing like what you see it do. It'll be changing around a lot. So I run mine on 20 feet just about all the time. Not unless it's deeper. I'll have to go deeper sometimes, but I very seldom ever go shallower. Once in a while I might bump it up to 15, but normally I keep it set on 20. And if it's 25 feet, I want to see the bottom, so I'm going to bring it down to 25 feet. If it's 40 feet, which in some places in the Ross Barn it is 40 feet, I want to see that bottom because fish will hide on the bottom. And if you can't see the bottom, you can't see the fish. So set it on 20, and if you need to go deeper, go deeper. But I wouldn't go, you know, I would never go shallower than 15, but I would probably keep it always on 20. All right, let's go to forward range. Now I keep my forward range on 30. That's just me. A lot of people, I see people all the time running it on 50, but I want to see a lot of detail. If you get it out there that far, you're missing a lot of detail. Plus, you can't see your bait near as easy running it out to 50 feet. So 30 feet's about where I keep mine. If you find a place that you're happy with, say like I'm happy with 30 feet, you leave it there, you can almost always tell what size the fish is. You know, because you're used to seeing that size screen. If you keep changing your screen back and forth all the time, your eye doesn't ever get accustomed to what you're looking at. So find you something that you like and leave it there. 30 feet is perfect for me. So let's see, sonar setup. Now appearance, I don't like the amber. I like moss green. That's just me. I keep mine set on moss. You can set it on anything you want. Rusted steel, lava, Caribbean. Some people like this emerald black down here or midnight blue. Emerald black is, I don't know. For me, the moss is what I see the best. So that's where I keep mine at. Color gain, I keep mine set about 70%. You know, if you get up higher, if I ever get a dang picture right here, I'd show you. If you get it up higher than that, you start, see how bright that got? It just washes the picture out. About 70% is about where you get the best picture for me. And that's just for me. There you go, it's a better picture. See, it washes that out. It just gets everything too bright, and you get it down too low, then you can't see detail very well. 70% seems to be the perfect number for me. So like I said, that can change during the day. It depends on how much junk you got in the water. So this is what I'm telling you are just good starting points. They're not nothing wrote in stone right here on any of this stuff. Whoops, I messed that up. Go back to sonar setup. Noise reject, I turned that off. I don't never run noise reject. A lot of people do because they want the pictures crystal clear. I don't mind these little speckles in my picture. That don't hurt my feelings any because I can see better detail with that noise reject turned off. TVG, I'll leave it turned off because TVG, all it's doing is blocking off part of your picture, which would be if you have it on, if you put it on low or medium or whatever, it starts starts taking away the picture. You can't see it on this simulator, but I'd leave it turned off. Now during the springtime, which we coming up here pretty soon, when you get a lot of pollen in the water, you probably want to put it on at least low to get rid of some of that pollen. But when the pollen's gone, then turn it back off. So it's kind of up to you how you want to run it. Ghost reject, I'd leave that thing turned off. Anything that you turn, a filter you turn on the screen that block something, you're blocking part of the picture. So if that ghost reject is turned on, and that ghost tree is just a little curve. That's all it is, a little curve up through the screen. Yeah, I caught a lot of fish around that fake tree right there, so ghost tree as they call it. So I turned it off. I leave all the filters turned off that I can. I only turn the filters on when I absolutely have to have them. If I, 9 times out of 10, I don't have to have them. Overlay data. I like this stuff on my screen. That's what this is. I like it on there. So I leave all that turned on. Let's go back up to appearance. Bottom fill. I will not turn that on because this messes the bottom up. You can't see the stuff on the bottom with this bottom fill turned on. I keep all that turned off. On layout, this grid overlay you seeing right here, I don't like that thing. A lot of people like it. They think they can tell what size the fish is by the squares right there. After you learn how to use the thing, you'll learn how to tell how big the fish are without it. So I turned that thing off. Let's see. All this right here, well, reverse range. Reverse range is this thing right here. Messed that up. Let me get back out of that. Okay, let's get back to sonar setup. Layout. Reverse range. It's this line right here. It's just blocking part of your picture. So if you put it on minimum, you say I move that thing back. If you can put it on high, it goes away completely. I like to see behind me just a little bit, but I definitely don't want it way up there, and I don't want it at default. So I put mine on minimum, which is right there. I can see 4 feet behind me, and that's good enough for me. Well, that's about it on that right there. Let's see, let's go to installation. Install depth, you need to set that to whatever how deep your transducer is in the water when you have it deployed in the water. So it defaults at 1 foot, and that's just about where mine is at 1 foot. Stabilization, you want that thing turned on, auto stabilize. What that does, it keeps the picture from rocking around when the waves are hitting you. You definitely want that turned on. Calibrate compass, you definitely want to calibrate that compass. It's not very hard at all. You hit the calibrate button. When you hit begin, it tells you to turn your boat around in a circle 1.5 times, and I found that it does better if you use your big motor. Leave that trolling motor turned off because the trolling motor creates a magnetic field, and that's what you're doing is you're calibrating the compass, which is a magnetic compass. So it tells you right here the trolling motor should be off and deployed. So keep it turned off, hit begin, go either direction you want to, right or left, it don't matter, do the complete thing, and you really want to have that number up there around in the 90s. Any of the numbers will work, but 90s are better. So it gives you a better compass heading. Orientation, you can set that on auto if you want to, and it'll change by itself. I keep mine exactly what it said. I messed that up, didn't I? Go back. So on our setup, installation, I leave it set on forward because that's what I fish is forward view. I don't never use anything else. So that's a pretty picture right there, I tell you. Setup, installation, focus. What focus does, I leave mine set on auto, but you can mess around with it if you want to. I'm going to try to bring this picture right here up real quick, and let's see, get this turned back off. I want to see the bottoms. Bring the bottom up here. There we go. There's the bottom. You can see it real good. Let's go to focus real quick. Installation, focus. Now watch that bottom. Well, you can't really see it in the simulation mode. What it'll do, it'll change the bottom separating right here where the where the beams intersect. Yeah, you can't see it at all in simulation mode there, so just leave it on auto fresh and it'll work pretty good. If your bottom gets all crooked though, you can adjust it right here up and down and it'll work. You can straighten the bottom out. Right, simulation mode's not going to show us that, so just leave it on auto and it'll work just fine. All right. Well, guys, that should be just about everything you need to use your LiveScope. Now, right out of the box, and when you go to the lake, it should be all set up, you know, real good. Like I said, if you leave that on about 20 feet, I had it that deep there because we were trying to see the bottom of it. Everything should be exactly the way you need it when you go to get started. Like I said, you may want to change it once you get going, but it should work pretty dang good right out of the, you know, when you get there and you don't have nothing to fool with other than just catch fish. You want to save time. That's what it's all about. You know, you get to the water, you don't want to be having to fool with this thing. You want to drop that transducer in the water and go right to catching crappie. That's what makes it so fun. All right, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope it answers some of your questions. And if I went too fast on things, which I've got a bad habit of doing, just stop it, you know, and back it up and look at it, or freeze the screen, you know, or write it down, you know, take notes, take the phone out there with your unit and go over it and just keep going back and forth until you finally get all the settings, you know, about like, you know, close to what I said anyhow. You got to realize now these are my settings. Every lake is different, every eye is different, everybody's judgment is different, so you might want to set it completely different from what I said, but this will give you a good basics to go to the lake and start enjoying your LiveScope and your Garmin Graph unit. And man, wear that SideVü out, man. I'm telling you, that's a great thing to have. Run up and down those ledges and find the fish, find your brush piles. Fish don't look like fish on SideVü, they look like a grain of rice. So when you see a little grain of rice and a group of it, that's probably a group of crappie. So you might want to drop a marker on it, turn around and go back and look at it with your LiveScope and see if you just seen a big pile of fish. And you can see brush piles, trees, you can see ledges, you can see just about anything with that SideVü. It's really good. So like I said, though, I hope y'all enjoyed the video and I hope you get something out of it. I hope it helps you a little bit. That's what this channel is all about, is helping everybody. And if you like it, subscribe to it and hit that like button. And I'll see you on the water.